The 89th Texas legislature is well underway, with thousands of bills already being filed. With so much going on, the policy debate can often get lost in the shuffle, even on critical pieces of legislation. To help do our part, we here at TPPF invite different lawmakers to come in and discuss their bills to make sure you are in the know about what's going on in the Texas Capitol. This is The Layout. I'm John Mondi, Communications Manager here at the Texas Public Policy Foundation, and today I'm joined by Representative Caroline Fairley of House District 87 to discuss House Bill 1481. Representative Fairley, welcome to The Layout.
Thanks, John. I'm so glad to be here.
Happy to have you here. So House Bill 1481 aims to prohibit personal wireless communication devices like cell phones in schools during classroom instruction. What sparked the need for this legislation?
Well, a few things sparked it. One, there's just a need for this. Right now, we want our kids to focus on going to school to learn math, science, and reading. And we also want to provide support for our teachers to be able to teach these kids without the distraction of these phones. But I'll tell you, being a Gen Z, I grew up on this. In high school, I remember the teacher having to figure out whose phone was buzzing, what phone was dinging, making sure that they pulled it out. And so there's a real need for this legislation. And living through it, I've seen firsthand the detriments of how it can be a distraction in school.
Definitely. I think I'm Gen Z by just 8 days. So
8 days. Oh my
yeah,
goodness. Wow.
January 97, just barely over the line. But so can you take us through this bill and kind of how it works?
Exactly. Well, simply put, it prohibits smart devices from being out at school. Smart devices, from whether that's a phone or a smartwatch, they have to be up and away during school.
Gotcha. So, and we kind of touched on it, but how will the lives of students and teachers alike be affected when this bill is passed and implemented?
Well, it's going to, I think, be instrumental in kids' lives and also in teachers' lives. First off, we just see the in anxious generation. Jonathan, he mentions how the constant overuse of social media, it is leading to a mental health crisis, and we see that firsthand in Gen Z. I mean, they are the most anxious, most distracted generation that we've seen, and this bill, frankly, what it will do is it will restore in the classroom more focus, more learning, so that our kids, they're back and they're not distracted by these phones. And the other part is just the cyberbullying, what we see kids scrolling on their phone, and even in the cafeteria. I had one teacher tell me when they banned phones from their schools. She said it was amazing, Caroline. We were in the cafeteria, it was loud again because students were back talking to each other, engaging with one another and with their teachers instead of on these devices.
That's crazy. Yeah, we wouldn't think about just the cafeteria being dead silent because everyone
You
texting.
wouldn't.
That's so
You
weird.
wouldn't. Yeah,
So such
exactly.
the opposite from when I was in school. But so I guess if there's any pushback here, opponents would maybe say this decision should be made at the ISD level rather than the
Mhm.
state level. How would you respond to something like that?
Well, I would say one, in the bill I have, we are really trying to maintain as much local control as possible. Of course, we want to maintain that and allow ISDs to implement, but the reality is that the mental health crisis that we see with kids on phones, and also just the distraction that they are, this is a place where government can come in and help support. I mean, the feedback we've had from teachers who say we need this. This is helping us because we're the bad guys in the school, taking phones up. And instead, when it's just a state law that phones have to be up, it's a way that we can support teachers and support parents.
Gotcha. So I mean, you kind of mentioned some feedback from teachers. Is that what other kinds of feedback have you gotten since you filed this legislation?
We have received so much positive feedback. I mean, of course, you're going to have your few folks who don't love it, but the reality is, I think that. And I'm really thankful for this because I think that the generation above mine and even beyond that is realizing such a need for this. And so when we talk about this with whether it's school board members or teachers, um, or parents, they are thankful because they are in this place where they send their kid to school, and they want to send their kid to school to learn. But what they find is that their kid is on their iPhone. We've also found that in ISDs that have implemented this, it's really interesting. It delays the kids getting phones because if you think about it, and you're the parent of a sixth grader and every kid has an iPhone, when phones aren't allowed, they're like, well, why would I give you an iPhone? Like, we'll just wait. We'll give you a flip phone and see how that works. But it's delaying even that pressure of kids getting iPhones earlier on that I think is really good. But overall, it's been really encouraged, and people have been thankful. And of course, we want to maintain that communication line that people feel good about the local control and
Yeah.
making sure that we're impacting kids' lives.
Well, that all sounds great. Representative Fairley, thank you for joining us on the layout.
Thank you so much.